Hey Scorpio, it's Empress Rose here. Welcome to your reading. These are going to be general readings. I'm going to start with the Oracle decks for an intuitive vibe, and then I'll move on to a more traditional tarot spread. If I don't catch your wavelength here, check your other major placements. All right, Scorpio, what do these Oracle decks have for you? I'm in my living room because it's hot, and this is one of the only rooms I can keep cool. And I've got my mic on so that we can hear me better with all the fan noise going on. Oh, wow. You've been hard at work at something. You need a little bit of a break. Nurture yourself. Because the problem's coming to a close here. There's a resolution. You don't need to work for it. You're just gonna, this is one of those readings where you're just gonna cruise right in. You're just gonna drift into your parking spot here. So your hard work is paying off. New moon in Capricorn. You don't know where this is going or how something's going to end. You don't really have a clear vision or a clear understanding. You've just been putting a lot of work into something and going for it, putting a lot of work into something. Your hard work is paying off. But you, and I like it. There's some closure here coming in here. There's answers coming in here. We also have a personal issue reaches resolution, full moon in Cancer. So there are answers coming in. You start off in the dark, just putting a bunch of work into something, not sure where it's going to go, but there is resolution. It's paying off. And there is resolution. A personal issue reaches resolution. So something you may have been very protective of, maybe even secretive about, very protective of, it's resolving a little bit on its own. Something's going to come to resolution here. And it looks like it's probably going to be in your favor because your hard work is paying off. Now, it depends on where you wanted your clarity, what you wanted, what am I saying? What you wanted. Right, because the hard work can pay off. We may have been working hard towards a certain goal, but what we wanted, for instance, maybe you wanted clarity on something and you've been working hard trying to find that clarity. The clarity may not be what you want, but you wanted clarity, so you got the clarity, right? So it'll be clear, but it may not be exactly what you want. And you may have been a little secretive about this, working in the dark, but something is revealed here. There is some sort of clarity or resolution that comes in here. So we also have, though, so you have been working hard towards something, but you need to take a break and take care of yourself. We have take a break, life's a work, not a season, get off the treadmill. So this to me is saying you do not keep working for something. It's coming in. The answers are coming in. You've been working in the dark. You've been working towards something. The answers are coming. Don't keep working. Don't keep pushing it. Do not push. Let the answer come. Let the resolution come around, right? Let that come around. Taking a break. So yeah, taking a break. Life's a work, not a season. Don't push it. Don't push yourself. All you'll do is push yourself and get tired. Another thing is that when we push ourselves, it's like a denial of our own needs, which is a denial of life, which is a denial of even our own intuition and our own body telling us what we need. And when we don't listen to that, it's actually not life-giving, right? Because our body is here to keep us alive. That's its intent. That's intuitively doing that. So it's trying to keep us alive. And when it's telling us to rest and we don't listen to that because we've got some goal, we've got something we're trying to accomplish, when we don't listen to that, it is life-denying. We're saying to our bodies, no, you suck at keeping me alive, even though you've done it for so many years. And I'm going to override this, right? Any injury, one of the more serious injuries, the effect was very profound on this person's life. They were tired and they needed to stop, and they didn't listen to that and push themselves through, and had a very serious injury that was very not life-giving, right? So pushing yourself to do something even though you're tired, and that tired, it can feel like such a break in momentum. It can feel like such a pause in momentum, but it's not. It's actually life-giving, and then you can come back even stronger with more clarity, with much more clarity, so that the moves you make are in alignment with your life. So take a break. Your body tells you to take a break. Take a break. Don't pretend that's not true. Don't drive through the night even though your eyes are closing. Oh, that was another. Oh my goodness, the number of accidents and horrors that have happened by people not listening to their bodies. When their bodies say, I'm tired, well, I'm just going to lift a few more weights. Well, I'm tired. Well, I'm just going to drive. You know, I'm almost there. I'm not going to pull over. There's a lot that are coming to mind now. I bet you know a bunch too. So take a break. Do not push yourself. It's not life-giving to push yourself. It's life-denying and could have very severe consequences. I don't know. That message is coming in really clear. There could be, but they can be gentler too, just like a lifestyle that we live of taking breaks when our body tells us, and being in that flow of life, which isn't always crashing forward. Sometimes a little bit of a backwater, a little bit of a slow moving river, right? Allowing life to be, you know, at some points a waterfall, a tumult, the rapids, and allowing it also to go through those smoother times. More relaxed. Yes, take a break. Float down that river. Just the calm part. And then we have Star Mother. How can you mother yourself? Caring for yourself. Again, I'm getting this nurturing vibe of taking care of yourself. Obviously, we have a mother card here. So we're talking about ideal mother, not actual mother. Our actual mothers are just people with skills and not other skills. And maybe we're a good match for what we needed, and maybe we're not a good match for what we needed. But we're talking about the idea of mothering, of nurturing, of giving life, and caring for yourself, and gentling with yourself, and giving, you know, what you did not receive, giving that to yourself. And even if you did receive it, you still have to learn how to give it to yourself too. So there's a nurturing that needs to happen here. You've worked very hard at something. Let it go now. It's going to slide into resolution all by itself. Take a break. Do not push. Nurture, nurture, nurture. Rest and nurture. And that, you know, it's in the service of life. We can often feel like rest is somehow outside of life and outside of the excitement and the, you know, everything going great, but it's actually extremely nurturing. It's in the quiet parts where there's growth, you know, and children actually literally physically only grow when they're sleeping. So, that time out, that rest, that's where our growth, that's where our healing occurs, is in rest. So any energy that the body has, in excess of maintenance will go to healing, but that's only if it's not being pushed, and that's only if you're that's only if you're at rest, right? So your body has so much energy for just maintaining the life, and then it has energy for accomplishing. But if all the excess energy is going to accomplishing, then we're not healing and we're not reviving. So in order to accomplish, we have to revive. You have to pull back in order to push forward like an arrow, right? All right, Scorpio, this is your past, your present, your inner landscape, what's at issue, your environment, to-do list, possible outcome. This deck has added a couple cards to it that are obviously going to be a little, you know, since it's the only deck that has these cards, it's always like, yes, the artist. What do I do with this card? Well, it's in your recent past. So we have something, seeing life, bringing your own perspective to life, interpreting something in the way that you best know how. There's an authenticity and a vulnerability. The best artists, the ones that we love, were very authentic and true to their own vision. So in a way, I feel like you've been true to your own vision. You've been working towards something, possibly a creative work, but in a way, all work is creative work because we're bringing ourselves, as long as we're bringing ourselves to it, everything has a possibility of being a creative expression, right? The intentional, you know, chopping of wood and carrying of water, these chores, if done intentionally, can be raised to an expression of our true nature. So you may have been working on an expression of your true nature. There's some intensity here, there's some passion here, and there's a genuine, there's a real focus on something and on achieving something. And all art communicates what it's communicating, and it can always communicate relax, rest, take a break, but it is communicating something. So there is some sort of communication. It's very unique to you. Your current situation, I love this. Libra got this in her environment. So this is the Moon card. So current situation has you dealing with a lot of like subconscious issues, very deep in thought, maybe even wondering about your purpose in the world, maybe even wondering about the purpose of the work you've done so far, right? We have hard work paying off. But you're kind of wondering about this work and if it's been worthwhile. There's some subconscious issues here. So we're dealing with night, we're dealing with darkness, we're dealing with the things that we normally try to avoid, or sleep through or be unconscious for this part. So there's something here though where you're awake here. You're awakening to the night, to some of the darker issues that surround you, to some of the ways in which you move in the world, that have motivations that aren't always clear. And the moon also obviously is going to deal with like our shadow selves, our darker selves. And the darker self it's the things that we've rejected. It's the weeds. It's the weeds in our own personality and in our own life. And a weed is just something that's inconvenient and placed someplace where you don't want it. So people actually grow dandelions for the greens, for the roots, because they're medicinal and very healthy. But a weed in your, flat lawn here is, that's a weed and you're trying to get rid of it, you're fighting. It's basically either you have to be constantly battling these dandelions, or you have to accept that there are going to be dandelions in your yard. And what are you going to do with them? You can mow them, but I have one neighbor who's got a pristine yard, but he is out there every single day. He is on top of it. He is spraying his yard. He is spraying the perimeter of his yard into other people's yards to make sure that their weeds don't come into his weeds. To me, it looks a little bit like a control issue, but I'm sure it has its uses. But this is, maybe you having to deal with some part of yourself you've been trying to suppress, and then maybe like it's a lot of work to suppress parts of ourselves. It is quite a bit of effort. We spend quite a bit of energy suppressing different parts of ourselves and trying to not see them, trying to ignore them, trying to, like my neighbor who's out there every day, spending hours every day suppressing those weeds. He can't have weeds in his yard. What would happen? What would happen if he had a dandelion in his yard? What would happen? It would be shameful. It would be laziness. It would be, all these labeled things. Well, the moon card is something here. You're in a mode where you're looking at that. Is that really shameful? Is that really laziness to have a weed? Maybe this weed is actually just fine. It feeds the bees. It's part of life, right? So you're looking at those parts of yourself that maybe you've suppressed for a long time and spent a lot of energy trying to suppress, but actually could be a strength and could be a place of power and could actually maybe be a place of pride. If you work with it, and it looks like you are doing a lot of work, a lot of those issues are coming up. But they're reaching resolution, and you've been doing some hard work on it, on yourself, on your subconscious issues maybe. In your hopes, your fears, what you're thinking about, Ace of Cups, a new emotional beginning. So you could be dealing with some subconscious issues, hoping to prepare for a new relationship, a new relationship, or a new cycle to a relationship, a renewed relationship could be you've realized that how so many of these things that you've suppressed in yourself actually have a profound effect on your relationships with other people. And so in this hope of a new relationship, or a renewed relationship, you're doing a lot of inner work here, hoping for some sort of new beginning here, hoping that all of this work pays off, and it's going to, with this new growth, a new life, a new emotional beginning where there's an overflow really of love, and it's not withheld, it's not doled out. It's an overflowing of love. It's just a beautiful flow here where maybe even there hasn't been before. What's the issue here is Page of Swords, not knowing how to communicate. There's somebody, this could be very immature communication. The Page of Swords is just learning though, and so in the reverse, it's just not as powerful as, say, a King of Swords in reverse as someone who's really out of whack and maybe should know better. This is a Page of Swords. So this is somebody here, maybe you're dealing with somebody and maybe they're the ones bringing up these subconscious issues. They're naturally immature. The page just is immature. We all have to start somewhere. There's some sort of truth or communication that they have, but they don't know how to talk about it. This isn't for you to fix. If this is not you, this isn't for you to fix. Other people have to, they can reach out for help, but we can't fix other people. We should not be fixing other people. So this is someone who is struggling with communication, and there's some sort of denial here, or not wanting to look at it at some kind of truth here, and they're very much struggling to deal with maybe a lie, maybe some sort of misunderstanding here, some sort of terrible idea. There's somebody here with a really bad idea, and they may be lying about it, or there's something's not true here, and it's not being handled expertly. Everybody's got to start somewhere, right? So we can have a lot of compassion, especially for a page in the reverse. This has got to be very confusing, very upsetting. We don't have to fix them. We don't have to, be like, oh, well, they're just confused and I have to be in relationship with them anyway. That's not necessarily what we can accept that they are confused, and we can accept that we also would like clarity, and that this person is not capable of providing that. This is not someone who should be an expert or should know better. There's just someone who's very confused about the truth, about what they think about something. They're just not sure. And then we have, in your environment, we have a lot of communication. So there's a lot of, communication coming in. Could be, I was not wanting to say spiritual communication, but it could be spiritual communication, because that starts to get a little confusing. But this is your environment, and to me that has a very physical aspect to it. There's something here that there's a lot of communication, and could be coming from someone who's just incredibly confused and bewildered and has some sort of grasp of the truth, but it's all very confused and upside down. And so a lot of communication from this person, it's gonna be confusing for you too. So there's just something in your environment where there's a lot of communication here, maybe a lot of emails. This is always my check your email, check your mail, go through your mail, make sure you've gotten it all and you've opened everything. And you're sorting through your messages, either in your inboxes or physical or internet, whatever. So this can sometimes come in as a warning that there's communication that needs to happen, that is happening. And if you're not seeing it, you might be missing it because of technicalities or lost pieces of mail or misread. Something's been misread or something's been miscommunicated. So there could be a miscommunication here. And there's a lot of it. In your to-do list, Ace of Pentacles. So this is starting something real. This could be starting a new job, starting a new project, starting something real. You're wanting a new start in a relationship, but for some reason, your job here, what your to-do list here, what you're looking for an opportunity to do is to start something in reality. A new job, a new home, a new car, and it doesn't have to be a brand new car, right? A new to you car, a new to you job, a new to you home, something new, starting something in reality. It's solid. It can go the distance. It might be related to this communication. But there's a new beginning, maybe receiving something, receiving a new beginning. I see like a handoff here of some kind. There's a baton being passed here. And your job is to take the baton, or maybe your job is to create that opportunity for somebody else. Because they're both here. I almost see like a Tai Chi, you know, the invisible ball that you play with in Tai Chi here too. But this is real. This is a real passing of the baton, passing of the ball. There's a bequeathing here. It's an ace, so it's the start of something. And a possible outcome here, Virgo just got this too, justice. So some sort of truth coming out, whatever's been like clumsily obfuscated here comes out. This just feels so random. Go get a new job. All of this internal work, wanting a new beginning, somebody who's confusedly bumbling something, lots of communication, start a new job in the middle of all that. And then, but we're also supposed to take a break and nurture yourself. So get all that done. Quite a to-do list here, Scorpio. But the truth comes out. Some sort of balance, some sort of wisdom is revealed here. Some sort of truth does come out. So it's revealed. And I feel like it's revealed not through your own effort. You don't have to go investigating this. You don't have to go seeking this. This could also be like dealing with the justice system in your future, possible, you know, we're dealing with a possible outcome, dealing with the justice system. But there's some sort of fairness. There's some sort of balance restored to a situation. Again, it may not be exactly the way you wanted it to be, but there is some sort of truth, some sort of balance coming in here. It's in a way the wisdom of the universe. It doesn't care what you look like. It doesn't care what some of the finer points are here. It's, I mean, I just see this blind, very blind justice. It doesn't even seem to see its own effect. Like, it doesn't care what the ramifications of this truth coming in, or this justice being served, or these scales being balanced. It doesn't seem to care what the effects of that are. It's just coming in whichever way it wants to come in. So if you've been asking for fairness, asking for justice, this may come in a bit of an unusual way that you weren't expecting. It's almost like it doesn't really care, you know, what the story was, or what the story someone built up around the situation was, or what, like it does. It's like almost like it doesn't care. I get so absorbed in these cards, I forget to. It's like this is like all sorts of little details, and you know, what about this and what about this, and this is like, it just, I want to say it's not a rough justice, but it's just straight, something that's just straight up fair, and it doesn't need to see a bunch of details and have the finer points of the story devolved and gone over, right? The judge in a court, judge rarely wants to hear all the extenuating circumstances. They want the general gist of the situation, and then they'll make their decision. And you can go talk about the extenuating circumstances with your therapist or your friends later, but that's not what this wants. This is just, you wanted that, you wanted clarity, here comes the clarity. It's coming in any way it wants to come in, any way it can come in. All right, well, I hope that was helpful for you, Scorpio. I feel like this moon card is a Scorpio card. Is that right? Seems right. All right, I'll see you guys in a little bit.